Welcome. Today's episode is a fusion of 3 previous episodes into one exciting podcast. Enjoy uninterrupted listening to the entire first chapter of our journey through Azeroth. Azeroth is one small world in a vast universe, a realm filled with potent magics and mighty beings. Since the dawn of time, these forces have influenced Azeroth and the surrounding cosmos, setting the stars in motion and shaping the destiny of countless worlds and mortal civilizations. To understand this entire world, you must first know the basics of the cosmic forces and realms of existence. Light and shadow represent the most fundamental forces in existence. Although contradictory by their very nature, they are bound together on a cosmic scale. The existence of one is impossible without the other. Pure light and shadow reside in a realm beyond the boundaries of reality, but traces of their presence are discovered in the physical universe. Light is expressed through holy magic, while shadow, also known as the void, appears as shadow magic. The forces of life and death hold sway over every living thing in the physical universe. The energies of life, known commonly as nature magic, promote growth and renewal in all things. Death in the form of necromantic magic acts as a counterbalance to life. It is an unavoidable force that breeds despair in mortal hearts and pushes everything toward a state of entropic decay and eventual oblivion. The forces of order and disorder govern the cosmic systems of the physical universe. Order is most commonly perceived in reality as arcane magic. This type of energy is innately volatile, and wielding it requires intense precision and concentration. Conversely, disorder is manifested as highly destructive fell magic. This brutal and extremely addictive energy is fueled by drawing life from living beings. The elements of fire, air, earth, and water serve as the basic building blocks of all matter in the physical universe. Shamans' cultures have long sought to live in harmony with, or assert dominion over, the elements. They call upon the primordial forces of spirit and decay. Those who seek to bring balance to the elements rely on spirit. This life-giving force interconnects and binds all things in existence as one. Decay is the tool of shamans seeking to subjugate and weaponize the elements themselves. The Great Dark Beyond symbolizes the physical universe, an endless living realm with countless stars, worlds, and mortal civilizations. Azeroth is just one of the countless worlds floating through the vast reaches of the Great Dark Beyond. The Twisting Nether is an astral dimension that runs parallel to the Great Dark Beyond. The forces of light and void blend at its boundaries, causing eternal strife in this realm. Sometimes, the volatile magics from the Twisting Nether intrude upon the physical universe, warping reality significantly. The Emerald Dream is an ethereal realm of spirits and wild nature existing alongside the world of Azeroth. The Keepers, incredible beings, created the Emerald Dream as a map for Azeroth's flora and fauna's evolutionary path. These two realms are interconnected. As life ebbs and flows in the physical world, the spiritual energies in the Emerald Dream keep in sync with it. Although tied to the physical world, the Emerald Dream would appear strange and surreal to most mortal minds. But some minds, through druidic magic, can enter a state of dreaming and consciously explore the Emerald Dream. They can shape and influence parts of this green spirit realm with their thoughts, but their influence is not permanent. In the dreamways, time and distance are changeable. Spirits flow like living wines through lush areas of ever-shifting ancient woodlands. What seems tangible one moment can become intangible the next, and solid landmarks can transform in an instant. Similar to the Emerald Dream, the Shadowlands are connected to the world of Azeroth. However, while the Emerald Dream represents life, the Shadowlands represent death. They are nightmarish realms of decay, intricate spiritual planes filled with the souls of the deceased who have left the world of the living. The origins of the Shadowlands are uncertain, but they have existed since mortal life first appeared in the physical universe. Many believe that mortal souls are drawn into this dark place at the moment of death, where they remain forever. Still, others hope for a brighter afterlife instead of languishing for eternity within the cold confines of the Shadowlands. Now that we know about the cosmic forces and realms of existence, let's delve into the denizens of the cosmos, the significant inhabitants throughout the entire universe. The Void Lords are terrifying entities made of pure shadow energy. These beings are cruel and merciless beyond mortal understanding. With an insatiable hunger, they aim to consume all matter and energy in the physical universe. In their natural form, the Void Lords exist outside of reality. Only the mightiest of these entities can appear in the physical universe, but only for limited periods. To remain in our reality, the Void Lords must devour vast amounts of matter and energy. The Naru are benevolent creatures of living holy energy, representing the purest form of the light in the great dark beyond. They have pledged to bring peace and hope to all mortal civilizations and thwart the dark forces of the void seeking to engulf creation. The Titans are immense godlike beings made of the original matter from which the universe was born. They traverse the cosmos like colossal worlds, imbued with the raw power of creation. The Titans use this incredible force to find and awaken others of their kind, who still slumber in the distant corners of the great dark. The Burning Legion is the most destructive force in the great dark beyond. The fallen titan Sargeras created this vast demonic army to ravage all of creation. The Burning Legion moves from world to world, destroying everything with devastating fell magic. The exact number of worlds and mortal civilizations annihilated in their unholy burning crusade remains unknown. The demons in the ranks of the Burning Legion are highly resilient. Their spirits are linked to the twisting nether, making them extremely difficult to permanently destroy. When a demon dies in the physical universe, its spirit returns to the twisting nether and takes corporeal form again. To truly obliterate a demon's spirit, the creature must be slain in the twisting nether itself, where the volatile maelstrom intersects with mortal worlds or where the Burning Legion's energies are strong. The old gods are physical embodiments of the void. They are living nightmares, masses of corrupted flesh and wriggling tentacles that grow like tumors within the worlds of the great dark. These malevolent beings serve the Void Lords, seeking to turn the worlds they infest into realms of despair and death. The Wild Gods are primal manifestations of life and nature. They exist in two realms. The Wild Gods dwell in the physical world of Azeroth, while their spirits are connected to the ethereal Emerald Dream. Many Wild Gods take the form of gigantic animals like wolves, bears, tigers, or birds. The elemental spirits are primitive and chaotic beings of fire, earth, air, or water. They were among the first sentient creatures to inhabit the early worlds of the waking universe. The elemental spirits come in almost countless shapes and sizes, each having a distinct personality and temperament, influenced by their elemental nature. The presence of the fifth element, spirit, also impacts their disposition. A world with an abundance of spirit may give rise to passive and less physical native elementals. On the other hand, a world lacking spirit may birth highly aggressive and incredibly destructive elementals. The undead are former mortals who have died and become trapped between life and death. These sorrowful beings draw power from the necromantic energies pervading the universe. Most undead are driven by vengeance and hatred, seeking to destroy the one thing they can never regain: their lost life. Long before life came into being, even before the universe took form, there existed light and void. Unbound by the constraints of time and space, the light expanded across all existence like an infinite prismatic sea. Energetic currents danced through its reflective depths, creating a symphony of joy and hope. The ocean of light was dynamic and ever-changing. However, as it grew, some of its energies faded, leaving behind cold pockets of emptiness. From these spaces without light, a new power emerged. The void, a dark and vampiric force seeking to consume all energy and twist creation inward upon itself. The void rapidly spread its influence, opposing the flowing waves of light. The mounting tension between these two inseparable but opposing forces triggered catastrophic explosions, tearing the fabric of creation and giving birth to a new realm. In that moment, the physical universe was born. The clash of light and void unleashed energies that roared across the young cosmos, causing raw matter to merge and form countless primordial worlds. For epochs, this ever-expanding universe, known as the Great Dark Beyond, churned in a maelstrom of fire and magic. The most unstable energies coalesced into an astral dimension called the Twisting Nether. Light and void collided at the edges of this realm, throwing it into turmoil. Although linked to the Great Dark Beyond, the Twisting Nether existed outside the borders of the physical universe. Nevertheless, its volatile energies occasionally tore through the veil of the Great Dark, warping reality. The cataclysmic birth of the cosmos also scattered shards of light throughout reality, infusing the matter of myriad worlds with the spark of life, giving rise to creatures of wondrous and terrible diversity. Among the earliest forms of life were the elemental spirits, primordial beings of fire, water, earth, and air, native to almost every physical world. Many of these creatures reveled in the turmoil that characterized the early ages of creation. Occasionally, fragments of light coalesced to create beings of greater power and potential. One such group were the Naru, benevolent creatures composed of scintillating holy energies. When they looked out across the vast universe, they saw boundless possibilities and pledged to use their mastery over holy magic to spread hope and nurture life wherever they could find it. Even more remarkable than the Naru were the colossal titans. Their spirits, known as world souls, formed deep within the fiery cores of a few worlds. For ages, these nascent titans slumbered, their energies suffusing the celestial bodies they inhabited. When the titans eventually awakened, they became living worlds. Cosmic winds howled across their gigantic forms, their bodies adorned with stardust, silvery mountain peaks, and oceans shimmering with latent magic. Their brilliant star-like eyes observed the fledgling cosmos and became captivated by its mysteries. Unlike the Naru, who sought to safeguard life, the titans embarked on a different quest. They roamed the distant corners of the Great Dark, searching for others like themselves. This grand and far-reaching journey would one day alter the course of creation and shape the destiny of all living beings. The awakening of the first Titan remains shrouded in mystery, but legends speak of a being named Amonthul. Despite his solitude, Amonthul felt certain that others like him must exist. Driven by this conviction, he embarked on a solitary quest through the realms of the Great Dark Beyond in search of fellow Titans. The journey was arduous and lonely, yet ultimately fulfilling. Eventually, he encountered other nascent world souls, whom he lovingly awakened and rallied to join his noble cause. together with his newfound brethren, Amonthol formed a group known as the Pantheon. Benevolent beings embodying order and stability. They possessed a natural connection to the latent magic in the universe. Despite their immense power, the Pantheon adhered to a code of restraint and temperance in their dealings with the various civilizations they encountered, even the unruly elemental spirits. The Titans of the Pantheon understood that establishing order was crucial in discovering more of their kind. On each world they visited, they employed specific techniques to determine if a world soul slumbered within. First, they would pacify the raging elemental forces. Then they would shape the world, creating majestic mountains, vast seas, and dynamic skies. Lastly, they would populate the world with diverse life forms, hoping to awaken the dormant world soul and aid its growth. Unfortunately, most of these worlds proved lifeless. Nevertheless, the Pantheon took it upon themselves to safeguard these worlds, even those without slumbering spirits. They empowered primitive life forms to maintain order and integrity on these planets. Additionally, colossal machines were embedded in the world's surface, enabling the Titans to monitor and, if necessary, purge life if chaos threatened to overtake evolution. To assist them in their mission, Amonthol enlisted the help of a mysterious race called the Constellar. These celestial beings diligently observed the worlds ordered by the Titans, ready to initiate a fail-safe procedure and reset the evolutionary process should instability arise. As ages passed, the Pantheon discovered fewer world souls, but they persisted undaunted. They understood that the universe was vast beyond imagination, and despite exploring the stars for countless epochs, they had only scratched the surface of creation. Unbeknownst to the Titans, malevolent forces were also at work in the far reaches of the Great Dark. Let's now delve into the Titans of the Pantheon and their roles in the creation of worlds. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, Amonthol stood tall as the High Father of the Pantheon, a being of immense wisdom and power. As the guiding force of his brethren, he led them on a tireless quest to seek out other Titans and ensure order prevailed throughout the universe. Beside him stood Sargeras, the stalwart defender of the Pantheon. Fearless and resolute, he devoted himself to protecting the realms they encountered from malevolent forces that sought to disrupt the delicate balance the Pantheon worked tirelessly to establish. Agramar, a trusted lieutenant of the mighty Sargeras, served as a formidable enforcer. Together, they faced countless challenges, quelling discord wherever it arose, and reinforcing the Pantheon's mission to nurture and protect worlds on their journey. In contrast to the mighty warriors, Eonar emerged as the life-binder, channeling her celestial powers to breathe life into the worlds the Pantheon touched. She cherished all living things and strived to ensure their flourishing amidst the vast cosmos. Cosgoroth, the shaper and forger of worlds, held mastery over the elemental forces. With his skilled craftsmanship, he shaped landscapes and forged mighty mountains, laying the foundations for the evolution of countless planets. Norgannon, a being of profound knowledge, took on the role of keeper of celestial magics and lore. Through his insatiable thirst for understanding, he unraveled the deepest secrets of the universe, becoming a vital source of wisdom for the Pantheon. And high above, presiding over the skies and roaring oceans, was Golganeth, the Lord of the Skies. His boundless might controlled the tempests, and his influence ensured the ebb and flow of the cosmic tides. Together, this assembly of mighty beings formed the Pantheon, united in their benevolent pursuit of harmony and order throughout creation. Their interstellar voyage would shape the destiny of worlds, leaving an indelible mark on the tapestry of existence. Since the dawn of the cosmos, malevolent entities from the void sought to distort reality into a realm of perpetual darkness. These beings were known as the Void Lords, closely observing the Pantheon's journey from world to world with envy and desire for their power. Envious of their power, the Void Lords sought to corrupt one of the world-shaping titans into an instrument of their will. To achieve this nefarious goal, the Void Lords struggled to manifest in the physical universe. In their attempts, their energies seeped into reality, distorting some unsuspecting denizens of creation. The noble and virtuous titans remained impervious to this insidious corruption. Undeterred, the Void Lords targeted the titan before it awoke, as that's when the titan is most vulnerable. Unaware of which worlds housed slumbering titan spirits, they pooled their power and sent dark creatures hurtling throughout the physical universe, hoping some would encounter a nascent titan. These dark creations, unleashed upon the Great Dark, contaminated mortal worlds and everything in their path during the blind search for a potential host. In time, these malevolent beings came to be known as the Old Gods. Despite being aware of the existence of void energies in the universe, the Pantheon remained oblivious to the Void Lords and the threat of the Old Gods. Their focus was consumed by a more immediate danger, which was demons. These ferocious creatures, born from the twisting nether, were driven by unbridled hatred and malice, thirsting for nothing less than the annihilation of all life in the universe. Just like in the Great Dark beyond, life had also sprung forth in the twisting nether. These beings were known as demons, born from the fusion of light and void energies at the nether's edges. Embracing their untamed passions, demons wielded their powers recklessly, paying little heed to the consequences. Some even mastered the all-consuming force of fell magic. With time, these bloodthirsty demons broke into the physical universe, terrorizing mortal civilizations and causing havoc on countless worlds. Demons took on diverse forms. Some, like the two-headed void hounds, roamed the vast nether wastelands as ravenous beasts. Others, like abyssals and infernals, were mindless amalgamations of matter and fell energy, creations of more intelligent and powerful demons. Among the higher-ranking demons were the Nathrazim, also known as Dreadlords. Crafty and manipulative, they excelled in the art of shadow magic. Infiltrating mortal societies, the Nathrazim sowed discord and turned nations against each other. Their corruption gave birth to new and terrifying demon breeds. To permanently destroy demons, one had to vanquish them within the nether or in regions infused with the nether's volatile energies. Unaware of this fact, Sargeras realized that his current strategies were ineffective. Mere destruction was insufficient, he needed a way to contain them. Alarmed by the increasing demonic activity, the Pantheon dispatched another titan to aid their champion. His name was Agramar, and though inexperienced in battle, he quickly learned and earned Sargeras' respect, becoming the Titan warrior's trusted lieutenant. Together, they formed an unwavering defense against the unrelenting demonic onslaught for countless ages. While Agramar proved formidable in combat, Sargeras delved into understanding the twisting nether's properties to find a means of containment. Though not fully comprehending its scope, he learned enough to manipulate and shape its energies. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Sargeras created a prison within the nether, named Mardum, the Plane of Banishment. This impregnable pocket dimension would trap demons, preventing their revival after defeat, leaving them to suffer eternally. However, the increasing number of captive demons and their destructive fell energies weakened the barrier between the nether and the physical universe. The prison manifested in the far reaches of the Great Dark as a blazing, verdant star. Thanks to the valorous efforts of Sargeras and Agrimar, tranquility gradually returned to the cosmos. Though demonic threats persisted, they became less frequent. The Titans' worlds prospered, and life flourished in all its diversity. As the Pantheon continued its search for slumbering world souls, Sargeras and Agrimar focused on hunting errant demons. Both champions agreed that working separately could better protect more worlds, only calling upon each other in times of dire need, and thus they parted ways. During this epic, Sargeras stumbled upon a chilling revelation of the Void Lord's sinister designs. Drawn to a remote corner of the Great Dark, he encountered a desolate world radiating cold void energies. The massive beings festering across its surface were the old gods, deeply embedded within the world and shrouded in void energies. To Sargeras' dismay, he sensed a world soul dreaming within the world's core. But unlike the joyful dreams of other world souls, these were dark and nightmarish, entwined in the tendrils of the old god's corruption. Sargeras confronted a group of Nathrazim who had discovered the Black World and sought to harness its dark power. Through ruthless interrogation, he learned of the Void Lord's intentions. Should they succeed in corrupting a nascent Titan, it would awaken as an unspeakably dark creature capable of consuming all existence. This realization filled Sargeras, the undefeated champion of the Titans, with fear for the first time. Realizing that the Void Lords were also seeking world souls, Sargeras felt an overwhelming rage and despair. He took drastic action, destroying the nascent Titan along with the old gods and their energies. Returning to the Pantheon, Sargeras shared his discoveries, but his rash actions provoked disagreements among the Titans. The others could not fully comprehend the depths of the Void's malice and power. Sargeras feared that the corruption of one world soul might extend to others, and he began to believe that existence itself was flawed. In his desperation, he proposed a dark plan to burn away all creation to thwart the Void Lord's ultimate goal. This idea horrified the rest of the Pantheon, as they swore to protect life whenever possible. Ionar the Lifebinder, and even Agrimar urged Sargeras to abandon this extreme plan and seek alternative solutions. Overwhelmed with despair and a sense of betrayal, Sargeras departed from the other Titans, realizing they would never understand his reasoning. If they wouldn't aid him in expelling the Void Lord's corruption, he would take matters into his own hands. This marked the last time the Titans of the Pantheon saw him as one of their own. Thank you for listening to this podcast until now. I genuinely appreciate your time and interest. Your feedback in the form of comments, likes, dislikes, and shares is invaluable as it helps me create better and more exciting content for every member of this channel. As we continue our journey through the wonders of Azeroth together, I hope you'll join me for the next episode. To stay up to date and not miss out, consider subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell. Until then, take care, and may your adventures be filled with excitement and curiosity.